1. The Awakening. Chapter 1. The Call to Destiny. Page 1. The sun's last rays illuminate a cliffside where Abel stands, gazing out over an endless cosmic abyss, his silhouette framed against the soft glow of distant stars. His eyes are heavy, filled with doubt as his thoughts drift inwards. The wind, whispering secrets from worlds unknown, caresses his face, yet it brings no comfort. Am I ready? He wonders, his voice lost in the vast silence. Behind him, the ancient celestial tree, its branches stretching high into the heavens, faintly hums, a signal of his latent potential. The tree seems to watch, waiting for him to make his move, its roots intertwining with the very fabric of reality itself. A tremor runs through the air. For the first time in years, Abel feels it. A call, gentle yet insistent, like a distant melody reaching into the core of his being. His hand moves involuntarily to the hilt of the Lightbringer sword strapped to his back. The sword hums, vibrating with energy as if it recognizes him. It feels alive. The call grows louder, a cosmic resonance intertwining with his soul. It's time. His heart beats in rhythm with the sword's pulse, but there's hesitation in his chest, a part of him too afraid to step forward. What if this path leads to destruction? What if he is not the hero they think he is? Page 3. His internal conflict shifts when a faint voice reaches his ears, a soft whisper, yet it rings clear through the confusion. You are needed. The voice isn't his own, nor is it of this world. It calls to him from beyond the fabric of existence, pulling at the core of his purpose. As if summoned by this unseen force, the Lightbringer sword's blade ignites with a brilliant, pure light, its glow cutting through the uncertainty. Balance must be restored. It is a command, but it is also an invitation. Abel's hesitation falters. I will answer, he whispers, but whether out of duty or desire, he is unsure. Page 4. The air around him shifts, warping into a swirling, vibrant maelstrom of color and sound. Arya appears beside him, her presence calm, yet undeniably powerful. She carries the Wand of Eternity, an artifact imbued with the energies of time itself. Her eyes are searching, curious. There is something deeper in them than just wisdom. She has been watching him, just as he has been aware of her presence. The storm is coming, she says, her voice a cool balm against the fiery winds. She steps closer, touching his arm gently. We are not meant to fight alone. I can feel it. The balance is tipping. We must move. Page 5. The first rift in the cosmic fabric appears, a crack that opens in the distance, a dark tear against the light. The peaceful landscape around them distorts, reality itself warping like an old painting unraveling at the edges. The first sign of the chaos that threatens to engulf the universe. Abel looks at Arya, and for the first time, something inside him shifts. An understanding, a connection. Together, we will face it, he says, his voice no longer filled with doubt, but with the certainty of purpose. The time for hesitation has passed. Together? Arya echoes, the resolve in her voice matching his own, and thus their journey begins. Page 6. The rift in reality expands rapidly, pulling galaxies, stars, and planets into its wake. The cosmic storm forms, its chaos sweeping across the heavens, unraveling everything it touches. Abel and Arya stand at the edge of the world, watching as the very fabric of creation begins to tear. With each step forward, the gravity of their mission weighs heavier on their shoulders. But they do not falter. The Lightbringer sword and the Wand of Eternity shine brightly against the encroaching darkness, a symbol of their unity and strength. We will restore what has been lost, Abel says, his voice resolute, as the storm surges closer. The rift opens wide, revealing an impossible landscape, fractured, chaotic, a distorted reflection of the universe itself. The two guardians step into the unknown, their path guided only by the light of their weapons. Every step they take causes ripples in time, small flashes of alternate realities flickering around them. In one such moment, they catch a glimpse of themselves, distant, older, changed by their choices. The vision vanishes almost as soon as it appears, but it lingers, a reminder of the weight of the choices they are about to make. 8. The chaos intensifies, and as they approach the heart of the storm, they come face to face with the first manifestation of the rift, a creature of pure entropy, born from the very disruption in time and space. It shifts like liquid, its form constantly changing, as if it is nothing and everything at once. It's alive, Arya mutters. This is the first of many. The creature is drawn to their energy, sensing the power of the Lightbringer's sword and the Wand of Eternity. It reaches out, tendrils of darkness stretching toward them. The air crackles with tension as the battle between creation and destruction begins. Page 9. The creature attacks, its tendrils whipping through the air with devastating force. Abel moves first, the Lightbringer's sword blazing in his grip. He slashes through one of the creature's tendrils, but it regenerates instantly. Arya steps forward, her wand glowing with the power of time. She freezes a portion of the creature, but only for a brief moment. It is not enough to stop it. Their combined powers have little effect. It's not enough? Abel mutters, frustration creeping into his voice. We must learn to harmonize, not just fight. Page 10. Arya nods, understanding the truth of his words. She takes a step back, focusing on the Wand of Eternity. Balance, she murmurs, drawing the power of time into herself. The creature lunges again, but this time Abel is ready. With a perfect strike, he drives the Lightbringer's sword deep into its form. As he does, Arya channels the full power of the wand, bending time itself. The creature's form begins to flicker, collapsing in on itself, unable to withstand the combined force of time and light. The battle ends with a surge of energy, the creature disintegrating into nothingness. Page 11. As the storm subsides, a sense of calm washes over the landscape. The rift in the fabric of reality begins to heal, but it is not permanent. The battle they fought was but the beginning of something much greater. They stand in silence, the weight of their victory heavy on their hearts. We've won this battle, Arya says quietly, but there will be more. Abel looks at the horizon, his gaze hardening with determination. We'll be ready. They turn toward the distant horizon, knowing their journey has only just begun. The cosmos awaits, and they will face its challenges together. End of Chapter 1, Act 1, The Awakening. I will continue with the detailed, vivid descriptions of each page and chapter, following the narrative pacing and flow from Act 1 all the way to the end of Act 6. As requested, I will focus on world building, character development, and moments of personal growth, ensuring the narrative feels engaging and fluid throughout. Here's a continuation, focusing on smaller character moments and deepening the world of the story. The Awakening. Chapter 1. The Call to Destiny. The aftermath of the battle lingers in the air like a thick mist, and the world around them feels still, as if holding its breath. Abel watches the dissipating remnants of the creature, pieces of dark matter scattering like stardust. The first sign that the cosmos is imperfect, fragile, and ever-changing. The sword in his hand hums with untapped power, the vibration of the Lightbringer filling the space around him. It's strange, Abel murmurs, glancing at Arya. How fleeting this victory feels. We should be celebrating, but all I feel is emptiness. His words hang in the air, the weight of them heavy on the silence. Page 12. Arya stands beside him, her eyes focused on the horizon. She looks thoughtful, as if she has seen more in the stars than her companion has. Fleeting victories are just the beginning, she says softly. This is only the first of many trials we will face. Each victory is a building block, setting the stage for what comes next. It's not about winning each battle, it's about staying true to the path and understanding the bigger picture. She looks at him, her gaze steady. We are the architects of our future, Abel. You must stop fighting your destiny and start embracing it. Page 13 absorbs her words, a quiet storm brewing inside him. He wants to believe her, but doubt still clings to the edges of his thoughts, like the shadows that retreat at the break of dawn. And what if the destiny I'm meant to fulfill is not the one I want? He asks, his voice rough with a mixture of uncertainty and frustration. What if this is not the life I was meant to lead? He shifts uncomfortably, unsure of how to articulate the heaviness in his heart. Page 14. Arya doesn't immediately respond. Instead, she looks up at the celestial tree behind them, its branches extending like arms that cradle the heavens. I didn't choose this life either, she says finally. But I've learned to trust the path that has been laid before me. We are not chosen by chance. The universe has its own rhythm, its own will, and we must listen to it, no matter how difficult it may be. She steps forward, placing a gentle hand on his shoulder. You're not alone, Abel. We walk this road together. Page 15, the words settle in his heart, though they don't fully erase the doubts. Together? He repeats quietly. Together. There's a renewed sense of understanding between them, an unspoken agreement that no matter what the future holds, they will face it side by side. The world around them, once still, seems to breathe again, like a canvas stretching wide, ready to be painted with their actions. Page 6. The celestial tree behind them shudders, its leaves rustling as if in response to their vows. It's as though the entire landscape reacts to their resolution. A soft glow envelops the tree's trunk, spreading outward, as though recognizing their commitment. The cosmos themselves seem to nod in approval. The path ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear. The journey has begun, and the forces of creation and destruction are already at work. They turn towards the horizon, where the first signs of dawn are breaking, both a literal and metaphorical new beginning. The sky is painted in hues of purple, orange, and gold. The darkness is retreating, slowly but surely. We've been called to restore balance, Arya says, her eyes reflecting the lightening sky. And I believe we have the strength to do it. She grips her wand tightly, the crystal glowing faintly. The light emanating from it seems to dance with the rhythm of her heartbeat. Abel nods, his grip on the Lightbringer's sword firm as he steps forward. He doesn't know what lies ahead, nor does he know how to stop the coming storm, but he understands one thing: he will not face it alone. Let's go, he says, his voice steady and filled with purpose. Together, they walk toward the unknown, their silhouettes slowly fading into the twilight. Act 2, The Leviathan's Wrath, Chapter 1, The Calm Before the Storm. Abel and Arya stand in the heart of a serene cosmic landscape, a place that is untouched by the chaos they've encountered so far. The stars twinkle in the distance, and the nebulae swirl around them like vast, beautiful murals of light. There is a profound sense of peace here, as though the universe itself is holding its breath, waiting for something. This place, Abel says, his voice reverent, it feels like a memory of something long lost. His gaze drifts toward the distant galaxies, whose lights pulse faintly. For a moment, the universe seems at peace, and he wonders how long this calm can last. Arya glances at him, sensing his unease. It won't last, she replies, her voice soft but resolute. The storm is coming. I can feel it. It's in the air, in the stars. The Leviathan's presence is already here, even if we can't see it yet. Her hand tightens around the wand of eternity, the crystal glowing faintly, responding to her growing awareness. The calm before the storm is always the most dangerous time. Page 3. Abel frowns, but he trusts Arya's instincts. He reaches for the hilt of his sword. The Lightbringer sword hums beneath his touch. Its resonance fills him with a deep sense of purpose, but he knows that it's not enough. What do we do? He asks, looking toward Arya for guidance. How do we prepare for something we don't fully understand? Page 4. Arya's expression hardens and she steps forward. We prepare by accepting the unknown. We've been chosen for this mission. Our actions will shape the future of this universe. Whatever comes, we must face it together. Her eyes lock with his, and for a brief moment, there's a shared understanding between them. Together, he echoes, as the cosmic winds stir around them, signaling the coming storm. Page 5. Suddenly, the peaceful sky above them darkens, and the stars flicker violently. The ground beneath their feet shakes, as if the universe itself is in distress. It's starting, Arya whispers, sensing the pull of the approaching chaos. Abel's heart races as the atmosphere shifts, the calm replaced by a rising tension. We have to move, he says urgently. Page 6. Without warning, a massive rift begins to form in the distance, expanding like an all-consuming black hole, tearing apart the fabric of space and time. The galaxies around them flicker as they are sucked toward the rift's gravitational pull. Arya's eyes widen, her hand raised to stabilize the fabric of reality, but the rift is too powerful, pulling everything into its maw. It's not just a creature, she says, her voice strained. The Leviathan is a force of pure chaos, and it's unraveling everything. Page 7. Abel grips the Lightbringer sword tightly, readying himself for what comes next. We can't stop it on our own, he realizes aloud, looking at Arya. The enormity of the task before them presses down on him, but he knows that retreat is not an option. We'll need to confront it head on. His voice is unwavering, even as the chaos continues to swirl around them. Page 8. Arya nods, understanding the gravity of their situation. She steps closer, her body charged with energy, ready to tap into the Wand of Eternity's full potential. Then let's face it together, Abel. We'll stop the Leviathan and restore the balance. With a single, determined step forward, they plunge into the heart of the rift, leaving behind the calm landscape and entering the storm that will change the universe forever. This Act 2, The Leviathan's Wrath, the calm before the storm, continued. Page 9, the landscape begins to distort around them as they step further into the rift. Colors swirl and stretch unnaturally, the stars above now mere flickers of light, their once stable orbits lost in the pull of the growing black hole. The air is thick with static energy, causing Abel's hair to stand on end. He can feel the very fabric of the universe stretching. This is the chaos it brings, Arya says quietly, her voice barely audible over the hum of the rift. A force that warps time and space, a creature so ancient it embodies the very concept of entropy. Page 10. As they approach the center of the rift, the very laws of physics seem to bend and twist before their eyes. We're not just facing a creature, Abel mutters, his eyes wide with realization. We're facing the collapse of everything we know, everything that exists. His words are soaked with the weight of the truth, as the black hole ahead pulsates with cosmic hunger, devouring the stars and swallowing the energy of entire galaxies. The scale of the Leviathan's power is incomprehensible. Page 11. Arya clenches her fist, the wand of eternity pulsing with an energy of its own. The rift responds, reacting to the presence of her magic. This is more than a fight, she says, her expression fierce. This is about preventing the unraveling of all existence. She lifts the wand high, calling on the very essence of time to stabilize their surroundings. But the rift only grows stronger. We need to stop it at its source, she mutters to herself. Page 12, the sound of a thunderous roar echoes through the rift, a sound unlike any other, the cry of the Leviathan. A vast shadow moves in the blackness, its form slowly becoming visible, a shifting mass of darkness and light. Its enormous serpentine body undulates as if swimming through the fabric of reality itself. Every movement it makes causes the rift to widen further, threatening to consume everything in its path. There it is, Abel whispers, his hand tightening around the Lightbringer's sword. The Leviathan. Page 13. The Leviathan's form becomes clearer, its body made of swirling cosmic energy, veins of light running through it like an ancient serpent of chaos. It has no discernible eyes, yet its gaze pierces through time and space, focusing directly on Abel and Arya. Its voice booms inside their minds, a low, guttural rumble that shakes their very souls. You are the guardians of balance, the Leviathan's voice echoes. The universe was never meant to be in balance. I am the force that unravels it all. I am entropy. I am the end of all things. Page 14. Abel stands firm, his sword glowing with a radiant light, the intensity of its glow, a stark contrast to the swirling darkness of the Leviathan. Balance is not a choice. It is the way of the universe, he declares, his voice steady and full of defiance. We won't let you consume everything. His words are met with a chilling silence before the Leviathan's form ripples, laughing as it expands. Page 15. The Leviathan's form grows in size, becoming a vast entity that fills the space before them, its darkness stretching across the dimensions. Its cosmic energy warps reality itself. You cannot defeat me, the Leviathan says, its voice shaking the very fabric of space. I will pull you into the depths of nothingness, where time and space cease to exist. Your existence is but a fleeting moment in the cycle of destruction. The weight of its words hangs heavily in the air. Page 16. Arya's grip on the Wand of Eternity tightens as she focuses all her energy on stabilizing the space around them. She begins chanting softly, drawing upon the essence of time itself to counteract the Leviathan's influence. We have the power to restore balance, she says, her voice filled with conviction. And we will use it, no matter what you are. A glowing shield of temporal energy forms around them, pushing back against the Leviathan's chaotic presence. The rift shrinks slightly, but the Leviathan is far from deterred. The Leviathan roars in frustration, sending out a blast of cosmic energy that threatens to obliterate everything in its path. Arya and Abel are thrown off their feet, their bodies battered by the force of the attack. "We need to do this together," Arya gasps, reaching out to Abel, her face pale but resolute. "The Lightbringer sword and the Wand of Eternity must unite their powers. We can't fight it alone." Page 8, Abel nods, his heart pounding in his chest. The realization that they are not fighting just one entity, but the embodiment of chaos itself sets in. "Let's do this," he says, his voice steady despite the turmoil. He raises the Lightbringer sword high, its blade glowing with brilliant light as he steps toward Arya. Together, they bring their powers into alignment, the sword and wand forming a blinding beam of energy. Page 19. The beam of energy cuts through the Leviathan's form, sending ripples of light across its body. The chaotic energies within it roar in fury, fighting against the combined force of the Guardians. "You are not my equals," the Leviathan bellows, its massive form thrashing violently, but the beam of energy continues to press forward, carving through the creature's darkness, forcing it back. "We are the Guardians of Balance," Abel shouts, "and we will not let you unmake this world." Page 20. The Leviathan struggles to maintain its hold on the rift as the combined energy from the sword and the wand begins to push it back. For a moment, the fabric of reality itself seems to stabilize, the rift shrinking slightly. But the Leviathan roars again, a terrible sound that shakes the very foundations of the cosmos. "You cannot fight what is inevitable," the Leviathan hisses, its eyes burning with an ancient, unstoppable hunger. Page 21. Abel and Arya, however, are resolute. They continue to push forward, their powers combining in perfect harmony. The light of the Lightbringer sword and the energy of the Wand of Eternity pulse in unison, radiating outward in waves. "We choose balance," Arya says with determination, her eyes fixed on the Leviathan. "We choose life. We choose creation." The Leviathan's form begins to unravel, its massive body cracking apart as the combined forces of creation and time work to break it down. The rift in reality begins to close, and the chaotic energies that once tore through the cosmos now collapse in on themselves. "No," the Leviathan growls, its voice filled with disbelief. "This cannot be. I am entropy." With one final, powerful strike from the Lightbringer sword and the Wand of Eternity, the Leviathan's form is shattered, its cosmic energy dissipating into the void. The rift in reality closes, and the cosmos begins to stabilize. The peaceful silence returns, and the stars once again shine brightly in the sky. But the battle has taken its toll. "It's over," Abel says softly, his voice full of both exhaustion and relief. "For now." Arya looks up at the stars, her face filled with both sadness and hope. "The battle is never truly over," she says quietly, "but we've made our mark. The universe will always need guardians, and we are its protectors." Together, they stand in the stillness, knowing that their journey is far from finished and that the next trial awaits them on the horizon. We have reached a significant turning point in the story, where the characters confront the Leviathan and gain a deeper understanding of their roles as guardians. The battle is not just physical, it's a clash of philosophies, with Abel and Arya proving that balance, not chaos, is the true force that governs the cosmos. Act 2, The Leviathan's Wrath. Continued. Chapter 1, The Calm Before the Storm. Page 25. The landscape of the cosmos has begun to shift, the dark energies of the rift dissipating. However, the victory feels incomplete, a hollow silence hanging in the wake of the battle. Abel and Arya stand motionless, their gazes locked on the remnants of the Leviathan, a fading shadow that dissolves into the vast abyss. The starry sky, once tainted by the creature's malevolent presence, now flickers with the subtle glow of creation, though it's a far cry from the peaceful equilibrium they had hoped for. "There's a deeper truth here," Arya says quietly, her eyes narrowed as she scans the horizon. "This is only one battle. The storm is coming." Page 26. Abel looks to her, sensing the weight of her words in the stillness. He lowers the Lightbringer sword, feeling its hum against his hand, now more like a soft pulse than the thunderous surge of energy it once radiated. But why did it come? What is its purpose beyond destruction? He asks, feeling as though something crucial remains unanswered. Arya clenches her wand of eternity, feeling a sharp pull in the depths of time. We've only scratched the surface. We've fought a creature of chaos, yes, but chaos isn't just an entity, it's a force. She looks at Abel, her face reflecting a newfound realization. A force, much like time itself. The space around them begins to shimmer, as if reality is questioning its own validity. A cold wind, sharp and eerie, howls through the empty void. They turn sharply, eyes scanning the horizon for the source. The stars pulse ominously, their light flickering like a broken heartbeat. Then a voice, soft at first, enters their minds like a whisper caught in a breath. You think you've won? The voice resonates through the fabric of time itself, a presence that doesn't belong in the moment. It's the keeper of the nexus, its words cloaked in sorrow and truth. You've only begun to understand what lies beneath. Page 28. The voice comes clearer now, resonating within their very beings. Balance is a fragile thing, Abel. Arya, you are not the only guardians of the universe's fate. The stars flicker violently, and the ground beneath them ripples with unseen forces. You have battled an entity of chaos, but chaos is not an enemy, it is a cycle. And in every cycle, new rulers rise. Some will protect, while others will destroy. You cannot stop the turning of time. The voice is full of resignation, yet it carries a deep, haunting wisdom. Abel grips his sword tighter, feeling a cold weight settle in his chest. Then we'll make our own way, he declares, though uncertainty clouds his words. As the words linger in the air, the ground beneath their feet begins to tremble. The black hole, once a massive rift, now vibrates with an energy that shakes the very essence of existence. There is no true end to this battle, Arya says, her voice a whisper of understanding, almost as if the Keeper's words have unlocked something within her. We fight for balance, not because we can defeat chaos, but because we must live within it. Her gaze turns inward, and for a moment she seems far away, as if hearing something beyond the stars themselves. Page 30. Suddenly, the darkness of the cosmos shifts, turning toward them as if pulled by an invisible hand. The stars align in a pattern that seems both familiar and alien, a symbol of unity and destruction intertwined. A vast celestial wave sweeps toward them, carrying both light and dark forces, the collision of creation and destruction. The cycle continues. The Keeper's voice echoes once more, almost mournful. But even in this infinite dance, you must choose what kind of guardians you will be. Page 31. Arya steps forward, raising her wand high as a surge of temporal energy bursts from the wand of eternity. The energy rushes outward, pushing against the wave of chaos. We will not be slaves to time or chaos, she declares, her voice powerful, yet trembling with the weight of her conviction. Abel steps beside her, his sword now glowing brightly once more. The two of them stand in the face of the cosmic wave, their presence unwavering despite the magnitude of the forces before them. We are the creators of this future, he states, not the destroyers of what was. Together, we stand. The wave crashes against their shields of energy, a great cataclysmic force that shakes the universe. Yet, as it collides, something unexpected happens. The chaotic energy pulses and then begins to dissipate, almost as if it's being drawn into something. The very laws of reality themselves seem to bend and hum with the energy. The cosmic cycle must continue, Arya whispers, looking at Abel, but we must shape its rhythm, not with force, but with understanding. The energy begins to stabilize, and the stars dim, the universe holding its breath for the next phase. As the chaos recedes, a new silence fills the space around them. The rift has closed, yet the emptiness left behind feels vast, as though the fabric of existence is still trying to settle. The stars shine faintly, their light soft, as if the cosmos itself is learning to breathe again. We've done what we can, Abel says quietly, looking to Arya. But the Keeper's warning, it's not just about surviving the chaos. It's about understanding our role in it. We are but instruments in a greater symphony. Page 34. Arya nods slowly, her eyes scanning the quiet cosmos. Yes, she says, reflecting the gravity of their shared journey. But we must play our part well, for what comes next will demand more than just power. It will demand wisdom. She pauses, looking up at the stars that once felt so distant, now resonating with a quiet harmony. And it will demand sacrifice. This segment of Act 2 continues to build tension and explore deeper philosophical questions, adding layers to the journey of Abel and Arya. The narrative twists toward a reflection on their roles as guardians and the realization that their true purpose lies not just in battling the Leviathan, but in navigating the cycle of creation, destruction, and balance itself. Act 2, The Leviathan's Wrath. Chapter 2, The Leviathan Unleashed, page 35. The aftermath of the cosmic battle lingers in the vast expanse, the universe slowly healing from the wounds inflicted by the Leviathan's chaotic forces. Abel and Arya stand side by side, gazing at the rippling starlit horizon. The air vibrates with a subtle hum, an echo of the power unleashed and the fragile peace they've won. The quiet is almost unsettling. "It's not over, is it?" Arya whispers, her eyes searching the cosmos for the next storm on the horizon. Abel turns to her, the weight of his responsibilities pressing down upon him like an invisible mantle. "No, it's just begun." His voice carries a hardened resolve, but underneath it, a thread of uncertainty lingers. Page 36. A distant tremor shakes the fabric of space itself. A wave of energy ripples across the stars, pushing them outward like a cosmic wave. "There," Arya says, pointing to the horizon where the stars are beginning to shift again. The fabric of reality seems to stretch and bend, as if an invisible hand is playing with the threads of existence itself. "The Leviathans return?" she questions, her gaze narrowing. The stars flicker wildly, and the atmosphere grows thick with an ominous weight. The echoes of chaos still resonate, as though the creature's influence has not been completely severed. "No." Abel mutters under his breath. Something worse is coming. Suddenly, the rift reopens in the distance, larger and more violent than before. This time, however, it is not just a fracture in reality. It is a gaping wound, consuming everything in its path. "This is beyond the Leviathan's power," Abel observes, his voice filled with a mix of awe and dread. The rift expands rapidly, like an open maw devouring the stars. A deep, resonant growl vibrates from within, shaking the very core of existence. Something far darker is pushing through. Page 38. A massive shadow emerges from the rift. At first, it is an indistinct shape, but as it moves closer, the outline becomes clearer. The Leviathan's form is reasserting itself, but it is different now. It is no longer a single creature. It has multiplied, splitting into numerous serpentine forms, each glowing with chaotic energy. The air around them crackles with power as the shadows stretch across the universe. "It's feeding," Arya realizes, her voice tinged with fear. "Feeding on the chaos we've left behind." The Leviathan's fragmented form grows in strength, each individual serpent representing a shard of chaos, all of them coalescing to form an even greater threat. Page 39. Abel draws the Lightbringer sword with a swift, decisive motion. The blade hums with an energy that seems to reverberate through space itself, reacting to the growing disturbance. "We can't let it regrow," he says. "Not after everything we've sacrificed." Arya raises her wand of eternity, her focus sharpening. "We must sever it at its source. I'll manipulate the time around it, freeze its growth, slow it down." But as the Leviathan's form shifts and coils, the universe around them begins to pulse and sync with the creature. "No time manipulation will be enough," she adds, a grim realization settling in. The chaos is too deeply woven into reality. Page 40. A thunderous roar shakes the very core of existence as the Leviathan's myriad forms stretch across the galaxies. Each head seems to embody a different force of destruction, one for time, one for space, and others for creation's fragility. The chaos spreads like wildfire, igniting the universe with violent energy. "It's not just a beast, it's a force of nature," Abel says, his voice tinged with awe. "We've only been fighting a reflection of its true power." He steps forward, determination in his eyes, "But we will not lose." Arya moves to stand beside him. "We must counter its influence," she says, raising her wand high. A streak of temporal energy bursts from the tip, slicing through the chaotic forces, but it is only a temporary measure. The rift continues to expand, its power growing with every passing second. We need to find its core, Abel declares, his voice carrying the weight of their mission. The heart of the Leviathan lies within the rift. If we can sever it from the source, we can stop it from consuming everything. They charge forward, their weapons glowing with a newfound intensity. As they enter the rift, they are met with an onslaught of chaotic energy, disorienting waves of temporal distortion, gravitational upheaval, and cosmic turbulence. This is the edge of the universe, Arya observes, her voice barely audible over the storm of energy. We're stepping into a place where even time itself bends. The rift pulses, growing ever more unstable, as if the very fabric of existence is fighting to keep them from entering. Page 43. Abel swings the Lightbringer's sword, cleaving through the fabric of the rift. With each strike, reality itself warps, revealing glimpses of endless alternate timelines, each one showing a different version of the battle. Some of them end in defeat, some in triumph. But in all, the Leviathan is always there, an unrelenting force that refuses to be conquered. "We must reach its heart," he mutters, gritting his teeth. "We have no other choice." Arya nods, her determination unwavering. "Then let's reach it." They push forward, fighting against the chaos that seems to cling to them, pulling at their very souls. The rift is a place of paradox, where time flows erratically and reality itself warps in impossible ways. Yet within the center, a glowing pulse calls to them, a heartbeat of the Leviathan's power. It is the source of its influence, the core of its being. They must destroy it before it consumes all of creation. "We're getting close," Arya says, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. "But it will take everything we have to sever the bond." Page 45. Abel and Arya reach the heart of the rift, their presence illuminating the dark expanse around them. The core of the Leviathan is a pulsating orb of dark energy, surrounded by tendrils of chaotic power. "This is it," Abel says, raising the Lightbringer's sword high, its blade shimmering with cosmic light. "Time to end this." With a single decisive strike, the sword plunges into the heart of the Leviathan's core, and everything goes silent. Page 46. The rift begins to tremble, the chaotic energy collapsing in on itself. The Leviathan's forms writhe in agony as its heart is pierced. The rift begins to contract, its influence waning. "It's over," Arya breathes, her shoulders slumping in exhaustion. But as the rift continues to close, a chilling realization creeps over them. This battle is just the beginning. The Leviathan's defeat has merely set the stage for an even greater challenge ahead. This portion of Act 2 pushes the tension to new heights, exploring the full extent of the Leviathan's chaotic power and forcing Abel and Arya to face their greatest trial yet. With vivid descriptions, high-stakes action, and philosophical undertones about the cyclical nature of chaos and creation, this chapter sets the stage for the next phase of their journey.